Welcome to opening night of the Great American Bash, mWo style. Let's start the show. What's happening, everyone, and welcome to opening night of the Mike World Order Great American Bash. Of course, I'm your host, Mike Thunder, and for some odd reason, today has just been one crazy day in terms of so much going on. But of course, it being the Great American Bash, I wouldn't want to have it any other way, you know. So, that being said, how's it doing? It's been all good. If only of you the trouble I was going through getting here to start the show. It is not even funny. Well, actually, it is. It's very funny. So, originally, I had it planned out. I was going to get here by at least 7 o'clock, leave work at 6, give me enough time to prepare, right? Well, we all know how mWo's world is. What starts as a good plan doesn't end as a good plan. So I had to notarize at least about close to over 100 documents. Just imagine how many pages that is, because we're not talking single pages. That's a lot of signatures I had to do. That's a lot of pain. That's rough. But I made sure I got home just in enough time. And also it shows the power of handheld technology. I'm able to get everything prepped up and ready for my phone rather than having to make it home an hour early just to do all that. So that says a lot. Power of technology. So we're going to go ahead and start with tonight's opening ceremony. We're going to do a special random 5 on Thirsty Thunder Thursday alongside my nice cup of Pinot Grigio. A nice lemony apple taste to it, I guess, which is weird because I can bite into an apple and I get an allergic reaction. I guess alcohol helps it. So, our guest tonight for opening ceremony, not only is she going to be here for opening ceremony, but she's also here for the closing zone. And based on her popularity when she came on last, I think it was 2 months ago? I think it was 2 months ago. Her popularity within the Mike World Order realm grew to where when we did a vote on who we wanted as our ambassador for this month's festivities, it was a knockout decision, no contest. Second place wasn't even close to percentage that she got the votes on. We decided to make this woman our mWo ambassador moving forward. You might know her from last time as being a well-known real estate agent, as well as her what's the correct phrase I want to say? She's living proof of positivity and busting your chops just to make it. We even compared her to Ultimo Dragon because that's how accomplished she is. If you count how many titles was covering Ultimo Dragon, that's how many accomplishments this woman has made. And here's the funny part. She's still got more to go. We're all just getting started. No matter how we've been into the game, the echelon just keeps going higher. So I'm very glad that she's back on the show. And so is my left knee from the other night, which we'll get into that momentarily. So, once again, welcome back to the show. Only the mWo ambassador for the Great American Bash, Women of Power, because this woman personifies it. Let's give it up, everyone, for Miss Cristina Sison.
Hi. Hi, Mike. Hi, everybody. I am so I'm grateful to be here tonight to celebrate with you and the opening of the Great American Bash. And yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, glad
so
to
it's
have
been
you
a
on,
crazy day,
and
huh?
you know, oh my gosh, I pretty much hit the floor running as soon as I came in. Uh, I'm pretty much I show up an hour early, I stay an hour or two late. In my case, I think I did literally a 12-hour shift, 12 and a half hour.
Oh,
Um, but that's how I've always been. That's why when they do my evaluation, they always refer to me as the heart and the soul of that department with only a short amount of time. So that tells you right there. I put work in.
absolutely. I mean, it's great, It's Thirsty Thunder Tuesday, so we're here to, enjoy your show and, me to learn about the wrestling and see what I can do for you guys, and I'm grateful to be here. So, thanks for having me again.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, you missed out on yesterday's episode that we did because I ended up showing the clip of me becoming Asian Barry White as I was labeled from the independent block party. That
Oh,
was quite a
awesome. Yeah.
hilarious moment.
You were great there. Absolutely.
Oh, and you know what? The funny part is the first time I've ever was bold enough to sing in front of a crowd. Now you, on the other hand, you were amazing. Hearing you sing, I was like, I was in the lobby with Makai, and then next thing you know, I'm hearing someone all the way from the lobby, and I was like, "Yo, who's that?" So I'm like, kid on the shoulders. I'm walking over, and then as soon as I walk in, there you is on stage, and I'm like, "Wow."
Thank you. Sometimes it's actually the fear that gets to stop us, when they say cold feet, but we just have to wear some warm socks and just face it, face your fears, I guess. I've always had a fear of going up the stage, but it's more like facing that and overcoming that. I think it's a very liberating experience. So just gotta do it. So yeah, I did it. And thank you for loving the music that I
I
sang. Thank you.
Oh, it was great. It was great. And I, for one, find it impossible that you have stage fright because, like I said, you
Oh
was on point from start to finish. And you probably did what, 4 or 5 different songs, if I
no, I
remember
just did
correctly.
two songs. Like, yeah, I did two songs. One was a duet, and then the other one was like the song I was supposed to sing, and the other one was a request. And I think the other song was a karaoke song with one of the ladies. Yeah, so yeah, four. You're right. It's four. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I remember. All I remember was that, other than that, I was the guy who closed out the show. So,
Yes, absolutely. Mike, the World Thunder, of course. World.
oh, yeah,
I'm gonna make sure that I like that Thunder, not Mike World Order. It's also good, but it's like it's a good
oh, yeah,
name.
Mike. I mean, the name of the logo is Mike World Order, but of course, the alias I go by on the stage, Mike, you know, you don't need
It's
to
Mike
wonder.
Thunder.
Just
Okay.
call on Mike Thunder.
Sounds
Exactly,
good.
that's
Yeah.
the alias. By the way, shout
Yeah.
out to Base Kid for creating that logo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So,
it's amazing.
yeah. Yeah. So, words, I prepared some words of wisdom for your audience tonight. So I might have one for the group, and it's the way to achieve your own success is to be willing to help somebody get it first. So it's a good saying. The way to achieve your own success is to be willing to help somebody else get it first. Sometimes we're not aware that we are like we're if we are always of service to other people, that it also helps us achieve success. And it's by being always willing to help and always being to help somebody else, that we also achieve our own success in our own little way. I had one of my biggest deals in my career was when I helped a person get a rental, and I didn't know that she was a friend of one of the biggest clients in the industry. And I just was really just willing to help, and it turned out to be my biggest deal in my whole career. So just the words of wisdom that I can share.
Wow, I can completely relate to that, and it goes to what we always say on the show, that we're trying to build a foundation and whatnot. And I swear, every time you come on the show, you pretty much, without even knowing it, you pretty much break down our catchphrases on the show that we use onto a whole different level. That's like, well, last time you were on, when not even knowing our catchphrases, it is what it is, canceled. You
Oh
pretty
yeah.
much mentioned your own theory about it before we even mentioned the phrase on the show. And because of that, it's like everyone who was watching the show was like, yeah, this has probably been by far your best professional guest on the show. All pro wrestlers aside and all that, in terms of professionalism, yeah, everyone said this was your best one. So I was like, you think so?
Oh.
And the executive producer, J Rod, he was like, well, it is what it is. And we both looked at each other and said, cancel.
Canceled. Canceled. Yeah.
Oh man. But that's how we look at that, is just canceling out negativity and just building everyone. That's one of the things I love about being at Crescendo whenever I have time to be there. You know, everyone's looking out for one another, everyone's helping each other out. You could be the worst talent there, and everyone's there to help you, guide you to success and not for failure. And that's how it should be. Kindness is free. You know, mentorship is free. That's the way it should be.
Absolutely.
Anything that people
Absolutely. I
want to pass is pay it forward.
paid for a willingness to help somebody else, the and
Yeah.
everybody's just positive and just their like difference of being positive and also having a purpose is actually like go hand in hand. Like you can always be a dreamer, but you're a dreamer as long as you have the plan and as long as you know how to achieve it, then it can happen. So dreamers are cool. We always need to dream with a plan and we make it happen. That's actually the saying that I dream, I plan, and make it happen.
And that's
So
pretty much how I
maybe I was dreaming to be on your show and then I'm here. So
exactly. And we're trust me, if anybody is glad to have you on the show, it's me. Because
thanks,
of, like I
Mike.
said, the knowledge that you have, and you know, and of course to the viewers out there watching, Yes, she's a beautiful woman. We get it. But it's more of what you bring to the table in terms of the knowledge. And I don't always say I give people advice, I give life lessons and experience. But the experience and the life lessons you give, like you pretty much personify what we talk about on this campaign, women of power. You really, really personify that, in my opinion. And
Thank you.
because of that, I will always have the most utmost respect for you and everything that you do and contribute to not just this area, but for your community and not just Filipino Americans, but just people in general. So I
Absolutely.
heavily appreciate you
Absolutely.
for that.
Yeah. And it's always it's quality means doing something right when nobody else is looking. So it's always important also to get your own gratification even if nobody's looking, and that's your best gratification. Because you know there are some things that sometimes you don't get credit for things, especially at work, maybe, but to your own mind, you did a job, and that for itself is already a big foundation for you to face that obstacle, and to be able to say, hey, no one else faces me because I know who I am. And even though I didn't get credit for things that I didn't that I did, it's okay because I did something right. Nobody's looking. I have that gratification by myself, and I'm happy for it. So I don't need anybody else's approval. So anyway, I'm
I
just
love,
saying.
I love
I
that
don't know
shit.
where it
Yeah,
came from.
I love that. Okay, that almost reminds me of my post I did on Instagram this morning. Like,
Oh, what was it? What was your
it was
post?
you actually ended up liking the post. It was basically a post I did where I pretty much said, you know, I have the right to be as deep or as shallow as I
Oh
wish.
yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I
absolutely.
mean, yeah, I
I
mean,
like that post.
I'm gonna enjoy my life and work as hard as I do, you know, just for not for the validation of others, but for myself. You know,
Yes.
that's the way it should be. That's why I love doing this whole Mike World Order thing and being the Mike Thunder character.
The
It's
Asian Barry
fun.
White. Okay.
Asian Barry White. That's my new one now. Asian Barry
Yeah,
White.
absolutely. Yeah.
I swear I'm gonna get my friend back for starting that. But
Okay.
speaking of paying it forward, my
Mm.
turn to pay it forward to you, Christina. So last time you mentioned you wanted to learn about wrestling,
Yeah.
more wrestling matches. I didn't want to like bore you with the stuff from WWE and all that. So of course I went over to get some Japanese wrestling, but not just any Japanese wrestling. I got women's Japanese wrestling. And each video pretty much contains women that have been their own landmarks in what they do. But I try not to play the same stuff I played the last time we did it. So this is pretty much part two of Japanese women's wrestling, or as they like to say in Nihongo, uh, Nihon no Joshi no Puroresu desu. And basically, we play a little game on Thirsty Thunder Tuesdays called the Random Five. There's going to be 5 videos, but you
Okay.
don't have to pick number one to start it off. You can start any number. Now, I
Start
will
number
say
three
this.
or something. Okay.
Yeah, you can start with number three, but I will say this. Number one is a part of 2 videos based off of a big super show that they did in the early 90s. Everything else is just individual videos, but
Oh.
number one is a part two. But I can't say what it is I can only mention the ones that you pick each time and give a quick synopsis of it before we actually play it. So I'm going to give it to
Okay.
you, Christina. Which
Okay.
one we're going with first?
Number three.
Number three. All right. Number three. Okay. Let's see. Number three. Ooh. Okay. Number three is a good one. So number three is actually the very first steel cage match that happened in the Stardom promotion this past year.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
basically a music video highlight of their recent pay per view that they did um, right at the beginning of the summer. So we're going to go ahead and play that. And
Right.
hold up, I see you got your what we got on the menu. What we
Oh,
sipping on, Christina?
it's Pellegrino limonada. So
Okay,
it's a sparkling lemonade, but it's really good. So
I was about to say that did not look like a Pellegrino. That looked like an IPA.
it is.
But
So
oh, okay, it is. All right. Look, I'm not
yeah,
an expert on IPAs. I didn't learn
yeah,
about IPAs till I moved up here.
yeah. It is. You thought it was beer. I wish I was. I don't have beer tonight, so
I mean, I got
I
me
just
neither. I
have.
got wine.
What do you have?
Wine. I got Pinot Grigio.
Wine. Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
had
the point
wine,
of
but I didn't
Thirsty
open
Thunder.
it. So I'm sorry.
Alrighty. I was saying
Okay.
that's the point of how we do Thirsty Sundays. We watch wrestling and we have a couple of drinks. So we're gonna go ahead and play our first of five. Christina chose number three, the big cage match from Stardom. Let's check it out.
I remember almost every time I felt love descend down, break away until it was gone. My every thought stuck inside the hell that reminds me that I've just given up, weighing down my soul. The thought of it's too much when I think about it all. Can I still find a place where my mind stops all the suffering? Will I live in my disgrace all night long? So I see now all I ever wanted was peace. Inside of mine that's always running from me. Where is the sunlight? Where's the repair for all the damage I have done? Weighing down my soul. The thought of it's too much when I think about it all. Can I still find a place where my mind stops all the suffering? Will I live in my disgrace all night Can I still find a place where my mind stops all the suffering? Will I live in my disgrace
Wow.
That was from Stardom's Fight to the Top from pay per view. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always been curious. Is that like, are some of them real or are they all real?
All pro wrestling is real just because it's choreographed. Here's my theory: if you can get injured, it's real. But with
Yeah.
Japanese women's wrestling, they go all in, and the rings, as you see, do not bounce like you see on
Yeah.
American wrestling. When you get slammed, it stays. Like, and
I
mind
know.
you,
I noticed
as you
that.
go,
That's why. Yeah.
oh, it's real. The bumps they take are real. Like you can't practice jumping off the top of a cage landing on someone. Like there's just something more about. So I always jokingly say the difference between Japanese wrestling and women's wrestling on WWE.
Hmm.
One of them have bruises after a match, the other doesn't. And the crazy part is Stardom. You see how the women look. They look like models. They don't look like wrestlers, and they're just going at it. But that's why they're the number one promotion in
Oh,
women's
they
pro
are.
wrestling.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
okay.
So that's number three. We still got four
Yeah.
more to go.
Okay.
What we got? What we got?
Number two.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Number two. So let me ask you a curious question,
Yeah.
Christina.
Sure.
How not trying to throw it out there, but what would you say your age was when you felt you were passionate about something?
No. No, my age was. Oh, that's very tough. Hmm. Maybe. Oh, that's very tough. Like, no, I wasn't scared of anything type of thing. Like,
I'd say that one thing that you love doing since day one that you still do to this day,
oh,
whether it's a hobby or the profession, doesn't matter.
oh, okay. No, I've always loved music. I used to write songs when I was in high school. So, and it stayed with me. So, music is one of my passions, creative music. And, I mean, I don't know if you know, I have a guitar here at my place. And, that's like one of those, maybe, I don't know, maybe you can't see it, but there. So I have a guitar and some drums and everything. It's like more, my passion is music really. And then maybe when I was in my 20s, probably. Yeah, I was more of I can do anything in this world. Up to now, I'm still the same. I think nothing's changed really. I think it's more like you're more experienced in what you want and you can make it happen, I guess. More like when you're in 20s, you're more like dreaming and you don't really know where you're going. I think when you're a certain age, it's more on you already know your purpose and direction and where you want to be. So it's more like realistic, but at the same time all the possibilities can happen because you have the power to do it. So just do it. Does that make sense? Did
Oh
that
yeah,
make
it
sense?
does. It
Yeah.
does. And you said it was video number two that you chose?
Yes, really
Number
number two.
two.
I was always curious about wrestling though, that's for sure. So
Well, this next one will make it very curious. So you mentioned high school was when you started becoming passionate, which is perfect because that was the perfect answer I was looking for. This person, same thing, passionate about pro wrestling since she was a child, and she didn't debut until she was in high school. Known for being one of the innovators of her time in pro wrestling. She was also known as part of one of the most famous tag teams in pro wrestling that not only did wrestling, but they also sing too. And she still owns her
really?
own music promotion. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
We're going to check out her actual promotion, the history of it. She goes by the name of Chigusa Nagayo. She sings in both English and Japanese. And she's known for being part of the world famous tag team, the Crush Gals. And they were basically one of the first female tag teams to have wrestled in Madison Square Garden in the 80s, before that was even unheard of.
Wow.
Like that's how well known she is. And to this day, even though she's semi-retired, she still dedicates to pro wrestling and her love of music. So, video
Oh,
number
that's a good entry.
2.
Good one. At least it
Oh yeah.
matched.
And because of that, in 1995, she started her own wrestling promotion called Gaia Japan, which lasted all the way until 2005, where it shut its doors. They were supposed to come back for a reboot, but COVID basically stopped it. So I don't know what's going on since then. However, her
Right.
legacy is still going and going and going, whether it's pro wrestling or music. You can actually find her tracks on Spotify and Apple Music. You might have to use the Japanese translation, but it's on there. If you're ever
Oh,
interested, I
that's
can send
cool.
you some links to some of their soundtracks. It's on YouTube.
Do you like
So,
it? The sound?
huh?
Music? Do you like the music?
Oh yeah, I got some of it saved on my phone. Her and her tag partner Lioness Asuka, um, when they did a Hurry Up Crush fight, a lot of their albums I like, and some of it had some unreleased tracks too. Like one of the tracks I love listening to is Rain by Lioness Asuka, but she also came out with a second version that was more of a remix, but it was more up to date because the first version was in '87, the second version was in the mid '90s. But it's I love the second version better. It's good music.
Okay.
It's basically same style that you sing, same style. So, without further ado, number 2, the history of Gaia Japan started by Chigusa Nagayo, which is crazy because I've watched this woman even as a kid. I've seen her in WWF, WCW, and on top of that, all of her work in Japan years later. Like I said, you're in for a treat with not just her wrestling, but the students that she trained. Some of them are still wrestling, some of them have retired. But I think you'll enjoy it because even though she's known for being stiff and strict, she's passionate. So we're going to go ahead and check it out. Pick number 2, Guy in Japan. Damn.
Wow.
Just watching that brings back memories of all the DVDs I ended up buying and collecting from like tape traders. Oh man, that was a legacy.
So that's Gaia. That's the wrestler, the Japanese wrestler.
That was the name of the
Um,
promotion. Yeah.
that's the name of
Um,
the promotion, but there's no individual wrestler
oh, there
there.
was a bunch. I mean, there's a lot of individual wrestlers. A whole lot to name off of the list. The more heavy set woman you saw with the short hair
Yeah.
throughout most of the video, that's Chigusa
Yeah.
Nagayo. That's the one I was telling you about that sings and wrestles still.
Oh.
Um, though her tag partner, the one that was in the blue, that's Lioness Asuka. Those they were known as the Crush Gals back in the day.
Oh, the
Like,
Crush Gals. Yeah.
yep,
That's
you can't talk about Japanese women's wrestling without them in the mix. But yeah,
oh.
it's crazy. And the reason why she started her own promotion because for a while women's wrestling kind of sunk down again because there used to be a rule in all Japan women's wrestling when you turn 25, no matter what your status was, you had to retire because they felt 25 was the age for you to get married, have kids, have a career,
What?
until finally
Really?
that, yeah, really.
Wow.
So because of that, a lot of the wrestlers they either retired or they would migrate to a different country to wrestle.
Country. Yeah.
Most likely America. Um, but then once they finally dissolved that rule, then because let's be honest, because of that 25-year-old rule, um, a lot of the female wrestlers started not only in high school but some in middle school to train
Mm.
just so they
It's
can
very
have a
young.
decent career, and
Yeah,
that's
that
what
is very
makes it
young.
unique. Oh yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
It is
But-
definitely. So,
so that's what
six.
that's two and three gone, right? So we only got one, four, and five.
Let's get the part two.
Oh, the two-part one. So that's number one.
Yeah,
So
that's
number
number one.
one. So number one. Not only are you going to experience good female pro wrestling, but have you ever listened to vaporwave before?
No.
Never heard of it?
Hmm.
I think you have though. So
Vaporwave.
yep. Let me pick your brain for a moment.
Okay.
Have you ever listened to Michael Jackson?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then
Definitely.
you've been listening to vaporwave without even knowing it. It's
Oh.
just vaporwave, lo-fi, smooth music. That's pretty much electronic music. That's all vaporwave is. And
Oh.
a lot of musicians give credit to Michael Jackson being the start of it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there's a guy on YouTube who makes wrestling highlight videos, but he does it to where it has that VHS quality look, but the
Mm-hmm.
music is all vaporwave because all vaporwave is a throwback to the 90s and the 80s style
Yeah.
music, but just with modern music beats. But I think you'll enjoy it. So, part one and two from number one that you picked is basically All Japan Women's Dream Slam pay per view that they did, where it was basically All Japan Women's, JWP, which was known for Joshi Pro Wrestling, and then I want to say the next promotion that was joining it was a couple of WWF representatives. I could be wrong. It's been a
Okay.
long time since I've seen this pay per view because I also got it on DVD too. So we're going to go ahead and go to parts one and two of All Japan Women's Dream Slam. And you'll probably might see a couple of familiar faces that you've seen on maybe the last video, but in a more younger format. You might. You
Okay.
just might. Because I think there's some Gaia Japan wrestlers in there too. So let's check it out. We're going to go ahead to
Let's check it
part
out.
one of two.
I'm scared, please slow down. I never met, failed your plan. That's why I never play games. Easy, lazy, oh, but I know you're so good. I tried to open my door. Let's start the game. I wanna be together. I'm shy girl. I wanna hold your arm. Yeah, let's have ourselves. My baby, I'll be my bestie, baby. Kiss me, baby, let's turn this love game. Be my baby, I'll be my shiny baby. With me, baby, I'll always be with you. I wanna be together. I'm shy girl. I wanna hold your arm. Yeah, I'll always be with you.
And now we go on to part 2. Hard hitting main event, huh? A lot of
Yeah.
suplexes, more drops, kicked in the head. Eeh, ouch.
It's like it's true, but it looks like a performance, but it's actually true. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's still choreographed, yeah, but you still got to take those hits. You
I
still
know.
got to get slammed. Like, you know who's going to win. Yeah, the matches are predetermined, but the ass kicking is real. That's the best way to say it.
Absolutely.
I mean, oh, that just hurt me just thinking about it. Oh, let me, doctor said I need a backiotomy.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, oh my neck. So that leads us to 4 and 5 now. Alrighty, what we got? What we got?
What's the best? Four?
I
Four?
can't tell
No?
you. That's why it's called a random 5.
Okay, let's do five then.
All
What do we
right.
have for five?
So number 5 was pretty much known for. Well, this was actually voted in 1990 by Tokyo Sports as Match of the Year for the women's division. Both wrestlers known for wrestling in America. One is retired, the other is still actively wrestling. It's the crazy part.
Really?
Literally, they wrestled in the 80s, they wrestled in the 90s, and the other one is still wrestling in 2000s, 2010s, 2020s.
No. How old is she? Like 50 or 60?
I'd probably say mid 40s. Remember, this was the generation where these women started out wrestling when they were in high school and
Oh yeah,
middle
you're right.
school because, that 25-year-old rule. So they were there not only when it came to that, but they were also around when that rule got dissolved. So if anything, it added more years to their career. But yeah, this one's gonna be a one for the ages. So there was a faction in All Japan Women's where the wrestlers, their nicknames were based off of animals. So you had like Bison Kimura, you had Bull Nakano, you had Aja Kong, and the two that we're looking at from that group, because at one point the group split, and it was one of the biggest feuds. There was even matches where they were in the cage. But tonight you chose Bull Nakano versus Aja Kong. And this one is going to be one for the ages. So we're going to go ahead and go to that clip and let's check it out.
Left your mark in a distant past, but somehow it's all gone now. Good things can never last. You are down for the good time, and you spent your change. Memories of your prime make life seem so strange.
アジャコングにとってブル中野はまさにプロレスの師匠であり、時代のバトンを一番弟子アジャコングに手渡したのである。
That was pretty killer, old school but killer. You know.
Yeah, it's like surreal.
Yeah, you look speechless. Like,
I know. First time to watch it, actually. It's first time. Yeah.
oh yeah, and the crazy part is these are women I've watched since, like I said, since I was a kid. You know.
That's awesome.
So I think you get a good well, I think you enjoyed the last video we got, video number 5, which pretty much brings back the curse that everyone leaves 5 last, with the exception of one person. But I think you'll get a good kick out of it. So number 5, the first time I saw her wrestle, she was only 16 years old, and I was in elementary school watching her on an episode of WCW Monday Nitro. And it's funny because fast forwarded now, I'm 34, and she's wrestling for WWE UK.
Oh,
And you want to know what the funny part is?
what?
She just turned 40. Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how long she's been wrestling. She owns Sendai Girls Pro Wrestling. You actually saw her in a couple of the Gaia videos. She was the one that was wearing the all red with the kick pads. And she still runs Sendai Girls Pro Wrestling while still doing her work for WWE and other promotions. But yeah, it's crazy because they call her the final boss in pro wrestling because in order to make it as a wrestler, you got to get through her because of the near 30 plus years knowledge that she brings. And seeing her based on the documentary they did when she was younger, she's also another good singer and a samba dancer. Oh yeah. There was even one show they did out of comedy where she dressed up in a samba character, still wrestling, but just dressed up dancing in between. It's pretty interesting. I still got it on DVD. You might have to check it out one night. You'll get a kick out of that one because that one's more kind of comedic. But yeah, it was basically the first show that was done post Gaia Japan. But anywho, it's crazy because she's still going and going and going in her early 40s.
Wow.
Which, yeah, it's scary. That's scary. And she still haven't missed a beat. That's the even scary part. But,
Wow.
oh yeah, the last video you pick is Gaia Japan, well, by Gaia Japan bred, but Sendai Girls owner, Meiko Satomura, the current NXT UK Women's Champion.
やっぱりトップに立つためには本当に自分に厳しくなきゃいけないと思うし、人にも甘えちゃいけないと思うし。
Oh
だ、私ぬかみその中金魚菌かもしれない。
Ooh yeah. I'm sorry, I had to copy the ooh yeah every time I hear that track. Pretty amazing, huh? Every promotion she's been in, she's been their world champion. It's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy. And she's, like I said, she's only in her early 40s. Like probably, I think 40, 41, 42 maybe.
So what you're saying is that she's been wrestling for 35 years, 30 years? Or?
Pretty close. Like she didn't debut until high school, but she trained when she was in middle school.
Wow, so 12. Yeah, pretty much. 13.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like first time she was on TV was 96 for WCW. She was in the
That's like 28 years ago, right? Something like that.
yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. Oh my gosh. So that pretty much wraps it up on tonight's Random 5.
Thank you, Mike, for having me and for letting me watch and share your passions and making me a part of the Great American Bash.
I don't know now. I mean, I think we both know what my passion was. And it wasn't pro wrestling. I did promise the people on the show that I was going to play the clip. They wanted me to play it again, Cristina.
What is it? Okay.
All right, well, look, here we go. Asian Barry White coming up next.
My world order. Nope. Step into the spotlight, bro. Own it. What you want to do in that red, white, and blue, my brother? Not the body rolls. Hey! Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Mike. I like those.
That was good.
Oh my goodness. That was so embarrassing. Oh man, at least, well, only because I'm shy about stuff like that. I'm not the best singer in the world. When you have a raspy voice like this, singing is impossible. You know.
It's actually your tone. It's a style, Everybody's got something. I think it's cool, You have to be shy about it. You're on tune. Some people don't sing without they're not on tune, and you're on tune, so you're fine,
I mean, I love listening to Barry White. I mean, what could I say?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, it was. Hey, I had to bring you into it. Look, everyone else was like, as I was singing, I'm like holding their hands, serenading, and I was like, I got to bring Cristina over. She's our ambassador. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And what cracked me up the most was, it wasn't until like the next day, like later on in the day on Instagram, I saw so many people had it posted. I was like, oh man. I was like, I thought y'all were just exaggerating. I saw like at least about 7 different people tag me on it, and I was like, oh man.
They had fun, so that's the whole point,
Yeah, it was me getting out of my shell and just I don't know, just doing something different. I mean that, and I kept getting egged on, And I blame Priscilla for hooking me up with that one drink before I even got on stage, because that even gave more reason for me to get on the stage. Which we're actually having Priscilla on tomorrow night's show. So if you ever get a chance, check it out when we go live at 8. When
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
we talk mixology with Priscilla Paris of P2 Bar Events.
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
Of
So yeah,
course,
and
though.
thank you for sharing the love for wrestling. Now I understand why people are passionate about it because it's very
Oh yeah,
interesting.
oh
It's
yeah. I
amazing.
mean,
Yeah. So
and and that's why I like doing this wrestling themed podcast, even though not all the time we talk about wrestling, but we still got to give it that theme. We got to make sure our guests have a big intro, and of course, as you can see live in the now called mWo Arena, the whole background and everything, and it's nice. And of course, this episode will drop on Spotify and Apple and all other major podcasts. So we'll have you back once again on the air, and hopefully our most watched episode once again. And I know at the end of the month, we'll have you closing out the show where we pretty much want more part two of the business aspects of,
absolutely.
we
Let me know
love
what you want me to share and like what
anything.
the audience wants to know, and would love to share my inputs and words of advice, experience, and also just have fun doing it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the most important.
But before we end the show tonight, I got two
Mm,
questions I want to ask.
sure.
Um, One, how can people get to reach out to you and your businesses online? And two, who's your favorite singer and why is it Mike Thunder?
Why did my thunder? Okay. Well, Mike Thunder, of course. Thanks for having me. My Instagram is Cristina Sison, spelled just my name, CristinasIson. And my other Instagram is Sison Homes, SisonHomes. If you need real estate advice, and reach out to me for anything real estate related. And also, we have Your Bestie 24/7 if you want to get a hold of very nice custom design shirts by our favorite artists. And of course, we also do a massive printing of shirts. We can do about 20,000 shirts in a 10-day period. So if you have big needs, if you know anybody, companies who would like to have really nice quality shirts, and they need volume delivery, you can also reach out to us. So that's it, Mike. Thank you.
Oh,
Of
no
course, don't forget
problem.
Mike to say he's gonna sing again at Crescendo's.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try and make it there this week. If not, just know I was there in spirit. Still trying to recover from this crazy weekend
Yeah,
and just all the
absolutely.
crazy overtime that I got to do this week. At least today and the next 2 days. Friday I'll be working from home, so that won't be as bad. Which is shocking. I'm working from home on a Friday, so
Yeah, that's good. Avoid traffic. Get things done more. Get things done. So, all
I
right.
feel like I'm the opposite. Like I don't know about you, but I got to be around. I got to be in a work office setting in
Yeah.
order to get work done. Like when I'm at home, I feel more distracted
Yeah.
by the surrounding noises to
It's just
where.
surrounding. You know what to do. You want to watch TV. You want to do this, right? Or just watch your
Mhm.
wrestling. Yeah, that's true. Very true.
I
Yeah.
mean, I do it at work too, multitasking. It's kind of different when you're at work because you're already locked on with the work,
You're just
sense.
focused.
Because
Yeah.
yeah, but it's kind of different doing it at home because it's like so many temptations.
You're right. Yeah.
It's so bad. It's so bad. But
Absolutely.
I try. But as always, I appreciate you being on the show. And of course, as always, we always end the show by me always telling everyone, hey, let's take a quick moment and enjoy yourself.